Hey, what's going on, guys? In today's video, I want to share with you how I modified my workout to accommodate for my shoulder injury. So in this video, I would like to share with you how I continue to build strength, muscle, and endurance while still recovering through my shoulder injury. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I was recently diagnosed with a shoulder impingement injury, and I'm about 2 to 3 weeks into my recovery. I haven't really been doing much of any pressing movements, but in the past week or so, I started to integrate a little bit of pressing movement back into my workout. So as you know, my workout structure, we still keep the same thing. Essentially 3 different movements into one superset: a pulling, a pushing, and a lower body. So it becomes a bit of a challenge when you have a shoulder impingement injury to do a pushing movement. But here in the first exercise, you see me combining the kettlebell dead stop clean into a reverse lunge, which is an excellent combination of a pulling movement with a lower body movement as well. For this particular workout, I was using a 36 kilogram kettlebell. You want to use a kettlebell that is somewhat heavy for this particular exercise, just for the nature of the explosiveness of the dead stop clean into a single leg reverse lunge. You can do anywhere between 6 to 8 reps for each side. Take about maybe 10 or 15 seconds of break in between before proceeding into the next exercise. I think it's important to listen to your body, obviously, but having injury in one part of the body doesn't mean that you suddenly become completely immobile or inactive, right? Of course, some of us have tendency to push too much and push a little bit too hard and end up aggravating injuries and making the recovery process just take that much longer to complete. I am guilty of doing such a thing, but there are also people who tend to do the opposite, which is they get injured on one part of the body and then they essentially stop exercising entirely. Okay, so I finished the first exercise of the superset, and now I'm taking a bit of a break, taking a bit of a breather for maybe about 20 seconds or so. And now I start the second exercise of the first superset. So here you see me doing the goblet overhead press. I found this exercise to actually feel really good for working out my shoulders even during a shoulder impingement injury. I find that the limited range of motion still allows me to overload the shoulder muscles without really getting to a point where my elbows go past behind my ears and start to feel that sharp pain that is often associated with a shoulder impingement injury. So depending obviously on the severity of your injury, you may want to start really light and figure out the range of motion that feels comfortable for you so as to not worsen your injury, but at the same time you can still work out your muscles. So I did 3 sets of the first superset before moving on to the second superset. But for the second superset here, I'm doing, instead of 2 exercises back to back, I do 3 exercises in a circuit. So the first one that I'm doing here is the dead stop double kettlebell swing. Here I'm using 2 28 kilogram kettlebells for this particular workout, which is an excellent lower body hinging movement exercise. Obviously, depending on your strength level, you want to adjust the weight that you use or the number of reps that you use. So for this one, I went a little bit heavy with 2 28 kilogram kettlebells. So I was only able to do, I don't remember, maybe about 10 or 12 repetitions for the exercise. After that, you can take another 10, 15, 20 seconds of a breather before moving on to the next exercise in the circuit. So again, the double kettlebell swing is a lower body hinging movement. Now we follow that up with an upper body pulling movement. Here I'm doing a pike inverted row, which is for me it's kind of a difficult movement to do. I know there are people who can do this really easily, but this is a relatively heavy movement for me. So I was only able to do about 5 or 6 reps per set. But you got to start somewhere, right? If the movement is too difficult for you, you can just simply put your feet on the ground and do a regular inverted row. And then you can just bump up the reps to, 8, 10, 12, or even 15 for that matter. Okay? So once we complete the pulling portion of the circuit, now we are down to the last exercise, which is a pushing exercise. Here I'm doing a kettlebell diamond push-up. So again, just like the goblet overhead press, I find the limited range of motion and also the hand placement of the kettlebell diamond push-up to be surprisingly really good, and it doesn't aggravate my shoulder impingement injury at all. So at the same time, it really helps to continue to develop strength in my shoulders, triceps, and chest area as well. Okay, so I would do the circuit superset for 3 times as well. And lastly, I do an accessory superset. So I've been doing the ring face pull almost every day now. Very, very light. You can adjust the difficulty of the exercise by adjusting the placement of your feet. And I would do relatively high repetitions for this exercise, anywhere between 12 to 15. And really focusing on strengthening the scapula and the upper back and rhomboid areas of the body. I find that I think my shoulder injury happened really because of muscle imbalance. So instead of focusing so much on the pushing, I really wanted to develop overall strength and mobility of my upper back area. So here you can see just doing some light stretches and mobility. And I superset the face pull with the kettlebell halo. Now, some of you have commented on my previous videos that the mace bell or club bell training have really helped to strengthen and healed any kind of shoulder injury. I don't have a club bell or a mace bell, so for the time being, I'm using the kettlebell halo for to try to achieve a similar effect. So here I'm using a 24 kilogram kettlebell to do the kettlebell halo, and I really try to focus on the shoulders sort of being stretched out when the kettlebells are behind my head. So that's it for the workout. Hopefully you're able to get some ideas and inspirations on how to continue to build muscle and exercise even through an injury, and in my particular case, a shoulder injury. Remember to always listen to your body and pay attention to your performance to avoid injuries and allow some time for it to heal if you do get injured. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.